The Oregon Ducks stepped over the Washington Huskies and into the college football playoffs for the second time in 2 years. We're going to talk about all of that and more here on the Ducks Confidential podcast. I am Aaron Fentress of the Oregonian and OregonLive, and he is George Wrighster, a very happy George Wrighster of the Unafraid Show and the CW. George, how you feeling? You excited? Your squad's in the national playoffs. It's a lock. They're in. Seeding will be determined later, but you got to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, it feels good to be right. It feels good to be.
You start right out with that nonsense.
It feels good for the team to be good. But on a serious note, it did give me, like, this season gave me a real appreciation for how difficult it is to do this year after year. It is extremely difficult to make the playoff. I mean, even the 14 playoff, 12-team playoff year after year, it is a feat of recruiting. It is coaching. There's resiliency. In the preseason, if somebody told you that you would be down your top three receivers, I mean, even though the order probably has shuffled at some point in time now, that you would be down 4 games without your top 3 receivers, and you would be out of your linemen for, like a game and a half or 2 games against, in 2 of the bigger games, that Sadiq would miss the Iowa game. And you would have thought that 10-2 or 9-3 was the more likely outcome. It's just difficult, dude. It is hard to win football games. And you got to, and to get to the playoff year in and year out, you have to win close ones, and you got to be able to squeak some of them out. And they've found a way to do it back-to-back years. And and then when you blow people, and when you get a chance to blow people out, you got to blow them out the way you're not sitting in close games all the time. I'm just reflecting, Aaron, just on how this is a big achievement.
Because of the injuries or in general?
Both. I think the injuries magnify it that much more, but just in general, I think the achievement is difficult. I mean, you would think that, Alabama could be out of a playoff spot still. You know what I mean? If they lose the SEC championship and they're sitting at number 10, depending on how they feel about who's at number 11, they could fall out. Notre Dame could be still out of the playoff, and Miami get it. There's a lot. It feels good to be not having to worry about your seat in the dance right now.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, look, the Penn State game, that goes in overtime. That they easily could have lost that game.
Yep.
On the road at Iowa, we can say what we want about Iowa. They marched 92 to take the lead, and Oregon came right back. Hadn't thrown the ball well all day. Boom, they get some big plays in the passing game, kick a field goal. USC's good. There's no doubt about that. You handled them at home. And then at Washington, Oregon's clearly better, but it's 19-14 in the fourth quarter. You have to answer or you're in trouble because you don't want to give Washington the ball down 1 possession at home when they're feeling a little confident, right? And Oregon came back, went down the field, a critical 3rd and 9. We'll talk about that play, of course, to Malik Benson. But yeah, I mean, I give them massive credit for what they were able to achieve, winning those close, tight games when the margin for error is thin. If they go 10-2, man, I don't know. I don't know if they get in with so many 10-2 teams kind of clogged up together. So definitely. One thing I will say is that, I've talked about this before. If you look back at the last 25 years, if there had been a 12-team playoff system, Oregon, I believe, would have made the playoffs 14 times. So, I mean, that's a lot. That says where this program has been and where, it should be moving forward. I mean, I've said I think at the very least they should go to the playoffs 50% of the time, which some people might raise their eyes on 50, 75, 80%. I mean, come on. It's, things happen. And we just talked about how close.
If you look over the course of like a 20-year period, because it's easy to look at it in a short period. But if you look over the course of 20 years, if you make the playoffs 10 out of 20 years, that is success.
Oh, yeah. No, 100%.
Because there's
absolutely
undoubtedly going to be coaching changes, injuries, stuff that, like weird stuff happens. And Aaron, how many times, And I want to talk about where the state of the program is, because how many times did we used to watch Bama or watch, or Georgia or LSU when they had elite teams, or in any other team, Oklahoma, or any team that was actually like top tier those years, and they almost lose games, and you're sitting there watching, you're like, oh my God, they almost lost. But the great teams find a way to win. You know what I mean? They just
Right.
find a way to win games.
Well,
And it's
we've talked
hard.
we've talked about this. So the top teams in the country, half their games are meaningless because they have the better talent. They should win them. It's not even a big deal. So when you say someone's 11-1, 10-2, I look at them honestly. They're 4-2, 5-1, because half the games are just like they don't matter. I make the NFL example. NFL, you play top 32 teams on planet Earth. In college football, the top 10 teams sometimes play the bottom 10 teams, which Oregon did a few times this year, right? So in those games, though, the Ducks came out, pretty clean, 4-1, 5-1, however you want to shake it up, and they had some close, hard-fought games that could have gone either way. I mean, let's be honest. So they were this close to 9-3, but like you said, you got to find a way, and they found a way and got it done, and that's a testament to them being better than just their talent. They got heart, they have discipline, they have resiliency, et cetera, et cetera.
Isn't that a testament to like coaching though too? I think.
That too. Yeah.
Because Lane Kiffin last year, with one of the most talented rosters, found a way to lose to Kentucky. You know what I mean? And there is something to be said. Like, Dan doesn't lose games that they're supposed to win. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, not.
Is there only one? There might be only one, right? Maybe at Oregon State, but that Oregon State team was good. But you were favored. You were up 31-10. But that Oregon State team was 10-2, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was a good team.
So I would totally agree. Is that
but that's
probably the one game,
right?
Yeah, that he lost. That you're like,
he lost 7, right?
In that one. Yeah,
right. And he was favored against Indiana, favored against Washington in the conference championship games, but those aren't supposed to win. Correct. Those are the line turned out to be wrong, and those were damn good teams, right?
Yes.
All right, let's get on to our 3 words. I'm going to go first on this, man. Malik got ghost. Look, dude, I've watched a lot of football, NFL, college, covered some high school in my life, and 5 or 6 years I might be hard pressed to remember this one. I'm sure I can't remember every single moment I've ever seen, that stood out in the moment, but that was a wow moment. I mean, everything about it was a wow moment. The situation I just mentioned, 1914, fourth quarter, 3rd and 9. Jed Fish talked about it later. He was like, we had them 3rd and 9 after scoring a touchdown. We're trying to get off the field and get the ball and go down and take the lead. Boom, backside dig route too. That's the other thing too that I loved about it. 3 receivers to the left. They're running the classic go with the corner and someone in the flat, although someone had a whip out but fell down. Dude, this so people know that concept goes at least back to the late 70s. The 49ers with Montana ran that. Like, that's an old school concept. Go, corner, someone into the flat. But they were in cover 3. Cover 3 is just like inviting the dig route. Just please run a curl or a dig right in that little hole behind the backer, underneath the cover 3 safety in the cover 3 corner. And Malik saw it and thought, I'm going to be open this dig. And he trusted Dante to see it too. Dante saw it, looked left at the 3 receiver combo on the left, and it came out back right and stuck that dig in there. I mean, I hate to age myself, but dude, that was my. I know. Well, yeah, the pass was a little high, so Malik had to make a great catch, but that brings him back to Montana Rice type stuff. And then he catches it. There's 5 defenders who have a shot at getting him. He outruns one, splits 2, run into each other, kind of hurdles another, and gets a block from Sadiq on the other, and it's to the house. And it was just like, boom. Game over pretty much at that point. Very impressive play.
Yeah, I said, Aaron, that will go down in like the all-time plays of the Washington, Oregon. Like, I mean, granted, it's not as meaningful, quote unquote, meaningful as the pick but it's up there with like CJ Verdell's run in. Like, it's one of those plays that 30 years from now, when they're doing, like throwback games and all of this stuff and showing highlights, that play will constantly be shown. Can we agree with that?
Oh, 100%. It was Again, like I said, I've watched a ton of football. It's very hard the older I get to impress me. The older you get, the less impressed you are. I
Yes.
was impressed. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
that was
I
impressive.
didn't
The
even know that
accelerate.
he had heat like that until the punt return.
Right, exactly. Because he hadn't been able to really cut loose that much this year. Although he had the bomb against Oklahoma State, he had the one, he had another bomb. Oh, against Indiana, the blown coverage, but still
Yep.
he sparked it down the
Yep.
middle. So he's definitely got the speed. And I did a feature on him. Go on to OregonLive, you can find it. Like 2,000 words on the kid. And talked about him going high school to JUCO because he didn't have the grades as he admitted. Then he goes to Bama to play for Saban. They went to the playoffs, right? Lost to Michigan, I believe. Yep. And he was just a backup. So then Saban leaves, so he goes to Florida State because they needed receivers. And Florida State had just gone undefeated or one loss and missed the playoffs. They fell to pieces, go 2-10. So he thinks he's going pro, but he gets the extra year of eligibility and comes to Oregon, which had actually recruited him before, comes here with the goal of going back to the playoffs. Just get me back to the playoffs. Not only is he going back, but he's going back in large part because of his plays in big games, including the 27-yard catch down the sideline against Iowa, which helped set up the field goal, or 24 yards.
His November.
Yeah, his November's
Iowa
ridiculous.
Catch, the punt return against USC.
Right.
Listen, it don't matter who comes back. He will be an integral, like he has cemented that going forward, he got to be part of the offense.
100%. And Moore clearly trusts him. I love the fact that those two in one offseason have developed that synergy and that cohesiveness. Because again, that's the fourth option. That's not play side. That's backside. Yeah. And so you as a quarterback are seeing, oh my God, they're giving me the dig. I'm not going to read this mess over here. They're giving that to me. I'm going to look it off, make that safety flinch a little bit, and then boom, hit the dig over the middle. That was just gorgeous football. Love it. All right, what's your 3 words?
Man. Playoffs are here. Playoffs are here. Like you have taken care of the business that you were supposed to taking care of. Like that's the part that you just look back on the season, you're like, dang. Now, granted, I am a little bit sad that the season is over with because I love college football. I mean, it is there is God, my family, and then college football.
No, God, your family, Aaron Fentress, and then college football. Go ahead.
In that order, there's nothing I love more. And so I'm sad the season is winding down, but I'm also, like I was talking, so former Oregon safety Matrell McGraw was at my house this weekend, right?
I know that name.
And so he works for Nike. Like he's helped put together a lot of the jerseys, a lot of the other stuff that has happened. He helped design the cleats that Dante had on, the foam posits. He did the duck foam posits, like a whole bunch of stuff. Nice. So, and we were talking about last night what we want, right, for this upcoming playoff run. And I said, what I want more than anything is more than anything because initially I was like, oh my God, home playoff game in Autzen. And then it hit me. I said, oh my God, we might get a bye. Like there's a chance Oregon ends up in the top 4. And we talked about this, like 2 weeks ago or a week ago. And he was like, no way. It was like, okay, Oregon's probably going to be number 5 this week in the college football playoff rankings. Right. Yeah, that feels fair, right?
There were 6 last week, right?
Yeah.
So and A&M lost. And they did not look good. And like you said before, they didn't play anybody all season until that game. Yeah. So
so
I can see them.
Tumble.
Yeah.
And then so Oregon would be at 5. Now, what happens? I don't think Ohio State or Indiana end up behind Oregon unless Indiana just knocks the doors off of Ohio State. Then you could have some sort of like if they beat Ohio State by like 21, you might. I mean, even though I don't think that that's going to happen. So let's put that away. So
I still don't think
Ohio State and Indiana in front of them,
right.
And then you got Georgia and Texas Tech. If BYU beats Texas Tech or Alabama beats Georgia because Alabama's so far back at 10, Oregon could end up like you could end up with 3 Big Ten teams getting buys, which the SEC
No
would
way.
be.
They're not going to allow that.
How do you unmath it though, Aaron? If what happens if Georgia loses to Alabama? Then how does Oregon not go from 5 to 4?
I honestly could see them jumping Alabama into the top 4.
No, they wouldn't jump Alabama into the
Why
top.
not?
Not after the Florida State loss and the way that they do. That would be
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, but that would be a hell of a leap. You know what I mean? Like that would be a hell of a leap, and they would have to leap Oklahoma, who beat them.
Yeah,
So
but
that's what I'm saying. I just don't. Or okay, now what happens if Georgia wins? Okay, and then BYU beats Texas Tech. Who goes in? Who then Oregon slides into the 4 spot?
That's possible. I can see that, but BYU's not going to beat Texas Tech, right? They're not going to flip that 29-7 around.
Listen, I don't think so, but stranger things have happened.
Here's my thing, though. All those teams you just talked about in the SEC have wins within the top 10. Oregon has no wins within the top. When everything shakes out, they won't have a win when USC falls. Oh, no, they won't fall. So they won't have a win inside the top 15, right?
Yeah, they will have. USC is going to be inside the top 15. They'll be 15 probably. So,
you think so?
Yeah. I just don't.
Okay, so 1.
Yeah, but if they rank them 5,
then it opens the door.
Yeah, correct. That's right. What I'm and so that got me to thinking, what do I actually want? Because if Oregon gets a bye, they'll be off for 32 days.
Right.
Which doesn't feel ideal. You know what I mean?
And let's be honest, man. At 5, you're basically getting a week off anyway. Like I'm so irritated by the Group of 6 team, or if Duke were to beat Virginia, or even playing with if they play a Group of 6 team in that first round playoff, I might call them sick. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh wow, that's
you know what that remind me of? Do you remember in 2011, the first year of the Pac-12 championship game when UCLA, because they had the divisions, and UCLA got in? I think 6-5. Weren't they 6-5 and got in? And Oregon hosted them?
Yes, it was bad. Yeah.
I kind of to represent my disgust. I always did videos back then, and I always have like a sport coat on. I did it in a hoodie. I did it in a hoodie out of protest. Like, this game is so trash. I'm not even gonna put a sport coat on. And of course, Oregon destroyed them. But yeah, I mean, Oregon, Tulane, or North Texas, or whoever else could be in there. That's lame. So to me, that's a tune-up game. Dude, that's keeping fresh. You know you're gonna win. I would rather play that.
Okay. On one hand, yes, right? But this was my overarching point, is that I was talking to Matrell about, is that I do not care because yes, the fans in Eugene deserve a home playoff game, and that would be awesome. However, I think we can all agree that, because I've been saying that styles are going to make fights in who wins the national championship. Either Ohio State is a generationally great team, right? Like we're talking 2019 LSU, because they have one of the greatest defenses statistically. Like, they look essentially like the Georgia 2022 team. So the question is, are they a generationally great team, or have they just not been tested yet?
Right.
So I'm going to throw Ohio State out of the bucket for a second. Outside of that, I believe that that there are teams that Oregon would for sure beat, and there are some teams that they would struggle with, right? So all I want as an Oregon guy is that the path is that the people who are standing in front of us are teams we can beat. Because that's the thing about a playoff. If you switch the matchups, you would get different results a lot of times. So I'm just hoping for the right possible matchup for us, regardless of whether it's in the first round, in the second round. Just give us the right matchup, and I'll be happy.
Gotcha. All right, let's get back to the Washington game real quick, because I want to get your opinion on, the game pretty much came down to how do you deal with Damon Williams Jr. And I have some stats for you. So in their wins this year, he was averaging 275 yards passing and 67 yards rushing.
Yep.
And their losses coming in, they only had 3 to Ohio State, Michigan, and Wisconsin. That's 2 really good losses and then 1 mediocre one. But they only scored, 23 points total. He averaged 172 passing with 4.3 yards rushing. That includes the sacks. Oregon sacked him 10 times last year. It's funny because during the week, Dan Lanning's like, he's one of the hardest people to corral. And I'm like, you sacked him 10 times. And they came out, they got 2 quick sacks, and then they started running the football. I thought Washington ran the football decently, which helped the offense, obviously. And they got cute on that interception by Kennedy. I mean, the first down, you would basically run down there, and he had a guy wide open in the flat, but keep running the football. I thought they should have done. But anyway, regardless, they did a great job. So that's 14 sacks. They sacked him 4 times total on Saturday. That's 14 in 2 games on this kid. Held him completely in check. I thought that was one of the more impressive things they've done this season because once that kid gets loose, he's trouble, and they completely corralled him.
Yep. Yeah.
So your impressions of the defense.
Now, first of all, I got to give some credit to Adam Muhammad. That kid, he's number 24 for Washington.
He ran well, yeah.
Dog at running back. He was hard to tackle. It reminded me of watching like Ashton Jeanty last year when we played Boise State. You're like, get him on the ground because there was 2 particular runs where it looked like that he had space, and he's fast enough to hit his head on the goalpost. So I was like, no, get him, please, get him. I mean, that kid is electric. I like him a lot. I thought also that that the defense overall played extremely well. Extremely well. Now, they got caught in a couple of situations, like on that 4th and 8, where they ended up scoring the touchdown. But you're playing against a good team, so they're going to get something.
Right.
And they did, and you pushed them to the limit. Like, you pushed them to 4th downs, all of that stuff. Yes, you would like to get off the field on a couple of plays. But overall, like, Washington, when I went back and watched the film, Aaron, they sold out to stop the run. And that's why the pass game was so much there. Like, Moore would have had over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns had he not missed Sadiq, on the one that he caught out of bounds.
Right.
So they were leaving the pass game open. They said, we're going to make you beat us throwing the football. You're not going to run. And they ran the ball at a And so Oregon had trouble running the ball. 42 carries, 106 yards, 2.5 yards a carry. Now, granted, the offensive line, they were on the field, but they're not 100% healthy. But they were there. And you expected a better rushing performance, but sometimes these things happen in people's scheme. And Washington overall have been a good defense this year against the run and against the pass. So this was a very solid win, and it was a win that, even though, like you said, it was 19-14, whatever, there was never a point in time where I felt like Oregon was going to lose. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's always good.
Yeah. They're in control. Washington played tough, but yeah, you never really felt like they were going to lose. And you kind of felt like they're going to pull out something in the moment, which they've done in every close game this season except for one, and that was the Indiana game, obviously. All right, hidden or not so hidden gem. I'm going to go first on this. So you're going to lose Bryant. You're going to lose Benson. There's always these questions about who's going to be the next man up. I have zero reservations whatsoever about wide receiver at Oregon, not just because of the Corian and all the alleged 5-stars coming in next year. I keep seeing these reports on him, but dude, Jeremiah McClellan is that dude. That we saw the touchdown he made against US. Wait, which one? Minnesota.
Yep.
Which was insane. I found a great picture of that. I screen grabbed it, have it in my phone because it's just ridiculous the way he dragged his back foot.
Yeah.
That catch, and that catch, I'm calling it a catch. He made that was reversed because it did hit the ground. He had control of that ball,
catch.
dude.
He
had control.
Dude, that catch was incredible. It should have been
inhuman.
The ball did not move.
No,
that was the thing I couldn't understand, because to the brain, you're like, there's no way he could possibly catch that. But and I was talking to somebody, they were like, the ball clearly had to have hit the ground. I'm like, if the ball hit the ground, you would have seen some sort of bouncing.
It did hit.
He was like, no. You can see his hands not fully on it. I was like, if the ball hits the ground,
it did hit the ground. Though.
Another object, it is going to jiggle or move or ricochet in some sort of fashion. Physics tells us that you can't avoid physics. The ball didn't move. Boy, that was...
You're saying it hit the ground, but it still didn't move.
Correct.
Okay, sorry. I got lost on it. Okay, yeah, no, that was ridiculous. I would have given him the catch just on the principle. Forget the rules. Like, no, man. I'm giving that brother the catch.
Yes. Yeah, it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible.
Real quick, Benson talked about how McClellan puts in a lot of work, with the jugs machine and catching and making those kind of catches, like making those one-handed catches. And, that's one of those things where it's skill development. Like if you do work on this, when it happens live, you're going to get your hands on it. And then you're going to feel so comfortable and so used to gripping it. And he looked like a guy who had made that, like when Benson said he's seen him make that catch before, I believe it, because you don't just do that just like out of nowhere. That's something that you have worked on. Over the wrong shoulder, reaching up and just snatching it like that and holding on to it. That was just amazing. So that kid is going to be special.
David Tyree, who had an angels in the outfield moment in the Super Bowl versus
he caught it on the hill. I was at that Super Bowl. I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe
that was an angels in the outfield moment, because I played for the Jets. He did not have great hands. I can tell you that. I can attest to that.
All right. Anything else?
No. Recruiting. Signing day is on Wednesday.
Oh, that's signing day. Okay, that's right. Signing day is Wednesday.
Expect some big names to walk through that door. So right now, and I know that you hate recruiting rankings, Aaron, but
I don't hate them.
Aaron,
I love-hate relationships.
I think we have 5 stars right now
in this class.
Yes.
On 24/7, I see 3.
No. In their composite. They have 5 stars.
Okay.
In composite. Lott, Jones, Kendra Harris,
Jet Washington.
Yep, Jet Washington, and
Emmanuel.
Nacho. Yep, Nacho.
Okay.
So they have 5 composite 5 stars, and do not be surprised if you see 2 more walk through the door. They are, and granted, 5 stars are not everything. However, even if 3 of them pan out,
right? That's the thing. Volume. Yes.
The more 5-star people that you have available in your pipeline, and high 4-star guys, that doesn't mean that 2-star Scooby can't turn into an NFL player. However, you have a better chance of getting a guy who can contribute early. Like a guy like Decorian Moore, who can, like, you don't have to develop him to be able to contribute as a junior. He's contributing as a freshman. So you get 3 years of contribution as opposed to 1 or 2.
The only 5-star I can think of that didn't really work out were Ty Thompson and Lake Seastrunk. Seastrunk went on to become pretty good and made the NFL, but he left after 1 year at Oregon, obviously with controversy surrounding him. But Ty Thompson is the only 5-star I can remember really not working out at all, who actually played, right?
I would say Colvin was just okay.
Colvin was good. I wouldn't call him a bust. He maybe didn't live up to being
no. I wouldn't call him a bust. Who else? Oh, you forgot one. This dude he's on his 3rd stop and it still ain't worked.
Wait, hold on. Let me try to see if I can figure out who it might be. Justin Flo.
Yep.
Flo didn't work out.
Mm-mm.
Where's Naeem Offord? Where's he? Is he on the roster?
Right,
he's on the roster? Okay.
14. He's number 14. He played in the game yesterday.
Okay.
On Saturday.
All right. I haven't heard much from him. I was looking at the 5-star list. Colvin's ranked 8th all time. DeAnthony did well, obviously. Haloti.
Dude, I don't even remember Kenton Kamatule. I don't even remember.
Canton Kamatula. Yeah, he had injuries. He had the concussion injuries.
Okay.
He came in after Armstead and Buckner, and he had a major concussion. And that kind of
and you would say Dickey as well.
Oh, Dickey. Okay, yeah. There's a good one too. Noah's kind of like Cameron Colvin. Like both were good, not necessarily great. Tyner, same thing. Good, not great.
Yeah.
Cole Ayerla, good, not great. Had problems.
Yeah,
so there's been a handful, but they've all been at least good.
Something.
Right. So it was good. Yeah, he was good. He and Colvin were good. They were good players. They were productive.
Yeah.
But they weren't, allegedly a 5-star guy is supposed to be a guy who's going to be a first-round draft pick, right? Isn't that what the recruiting services say? How when they rank them, every 5-star guy they're projecting to be a first-round draft pick. So, but you can still be productive and not necessarily be, obviously a first-round draft pick. All right. Well, looking forward to that. But isn't the mystery kind of gone on some of this?
What do you mean?
It always seems like in the past it was more mystery going into recruiting, but I guess not because you still had all the connections.
Okay.
I haven't covered recruiting in 10 years, so.
So before we get up out of here, we got to talk about Lane Kiffin for a second.
Oh, okay.
So, number one, I will start. Lane Kiffin's a clown, first of all.
Wow.
Clown. Absolute clown show. He is a guy who is self-absorbed, selfish, and he wants his cake and eat it too. The idea, and I've heard some people, and I'm afraid that you're probably on this other side of this, where you think
not necessarily. No.
Finish this team. Okay.
Oh no. Okay. Yeah, I do that. But go ahead. Go ahead.
So I totally believe Lane Kiffin should have the right, if he wants to leave Ole Miss to go to LSU. I got no problem with that. Do I think it's weird? Sure, right? But it ain't my life. My family don't have to live there. I don't have to, so I if it were me from the outside, I would have stayed. But he's got to make his own choices. But the thing about choices in life, Aaron, is that you don't get to choose how the consequences show up. It would be like me telling my wife, hey, yo, the girl that you hate that lives across the street, that y'all ain't friends and y'all beef, I'm going to go be with her now. But I don't want to mess up Christmas. So, let's keep this together for the holidays, but I'm going to be sleeping over there sometimes. That ain't going to work, Aaron. And the idea that you would have Lane Kiffin in the building coaching the team while you have a new head coach that you got to get in the building also coaching the team, putting his imprint on the team. You can't have both of these things at the same time. You cannot have somebody coaching a team with his style and the way that he wants to run things, and then another person in there trying to put their fingerprints on the team at the same time.
Have they hired a new coach already? Have they hired a new coach? They hired a new coach? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Here's where I disagree. First of all, college football has messed us up with the calendar. Right? It's the whole thing's ridiculous. That's another story. But to me, regardless of him leaving, because Ole Miss would steal a coach from someone else, maybe a lesser program, in a nanosecond. All these programs would do it, right? Everyone will cry about it when it happens to them, but they'll all do it if they have the chance or need to do so. So that everyone misses me with that. I don't feel bad for Ole Miss at all. So Lane Kiffin's going to LSU. It's a bigger program. There's no doubt about that. Do I think it's kind of weird that you're in the same conference and you're better than them already? So why not just keep going the way you're going? And with, like we've talked about, and you've pointed out numerous times, with the NIL and the transfer portal, it's leveled the playing field anyway. So why can't Ole Miss be on par with LSU, right? Why can't they? Anyway, that's another story.
Bottom line is build things, Aaron.
Exactly.
Kirby Smart just said, if you run from hard, what do you run into? More hard.
Yeah, but he's at Georgia, so he can't really talk. You know, someone
True.
said this is going to happen to LSU someday. Just wait, watch and see. Didn't Nick Saban win a national title, then go to the NFL, then come back and go to Alabama and stomp on LSU for the next 10 years? Like
Yeah.
these things just happen, right? So, but here's my thing: everything should come down to this remaining season. What's remaining in this season, and that could be one playoff game. It might be more. Your best chance for success in that window is to keep the coaching staff in place and let them go coach it. And if he's leaving, he's leaving. Don't be hurt. Don't make it. I hate the analogies to the marriage thing. That's completely different. That's your wife. That's your husband. That's something completely on a different emotional level than a coach. A coach should not even be remotely close to that level. And so to me, it's like, okay, Lane, you're going to leave us. We get it, but let's finish this right. Because this is, I don't think they're going to win it, but you're in the playoffs.
No,
they might never make the playoffs again. Finish the season. One more thing, then you can go. All this talk about he's going to poach players and poach staff. He can't do that now that he's gone. Of course he can. He doesn't have to be in the building to do that. So I don't buy that either. Don't be hurt. Don't be sad. Don't be all disgruntled because he's leaving you. Just let him finish the season and see how far you go, and then move on. He's leaving anyway. You might as well finish the season right. Now you can go.
Okay. So we have seen this happen before. Okay. Bill Frieder, who was at Michigan. Do you remember this?
No.
He was the head coach at Michigan. He left Michigan to go to Arizona State before the tournament started. Okay.
Okay.
And then so he took the job. And Bo Schembechler, who was the athletic director at the time at Michigan, Bill Frieder wanted to finish the season because they were going to the tournament, right?
Right.
And he said, hell no. A Michigan man will coach Michigan. They hired, I believe, Fisher. He took over. They won the national championship that season. Aaron, I do not believe that it is just like one of the only universities that allows players that hopped in the transfer portal to continue to play was Arizona State last year. Most times, remember, this is Lane Kiffin, who had a player that was having mental health issues and all this stuff. He's like, well, but you need to be showing up for work. And anytime anybody hopped in the portal at Ole Miss, cut off everything immediately. That's his policy.
He didn't do that in the playoffs, though. Would he have done that in the playoffs?
Yes. If
that's his best chance to win?
Yeah. If somebody said they were hopping in the portal, they were off the team. So
in the playoffs are different than a bowl game. He didn't make the playoffs last year. I don't believe he would have done that in the playoffs. If his best quarterback and best receiver and best defensive tackle said, we're out of here, you're going to try and finish with them to win as many games as you can. That's your shot at doing it.
Aaron, you don't get – I tell my kids this all the time, Aaron. I am a person who believes you can do whatever you want to do. You don't have to follow rules. You don't have to listen to people. You can do anything that you want to do in life. You just don't get to choose how the consequences show up. And Lane Kiffin, who they said that the Ole Miss administration has never told this dude no. Never. I've heard people say, why did they even put an ultimatum on him in terms of a timeline? What? Because of National Signing Day and because of the transfer portal. Like, you can't have him dragging this thing out and you miss out on coaches that you could have hired. So they tell Lane no. And then Lane says, okay, cool, I'm taking the whole staff with me then. And then he threatens the staff and says, if you don't get on this plane today, you will not have a job at LSU. So, you can't finish out the season and then come. Because that's
100% Lane.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he wanted to burn it down. So if you're Ole Miss, I 100% agree with their opinion on it. Aaron, if you want to leave. I told you I'd have told him to kick rocks a week ago. Because number one, you knew he was going to leave. and you don't get to just continue to fake the funk with me. If you want to be gone, hey, security, escort him out.
Okay. We know there's been numerous times in sports history where a major star or coach is going to leave, and we believe they're probably going to leave. LeBron with Cleveland, even LeBron with Miami, right? Durant with OKC. But those sports, the NBA, the calendar is set up to where you finish the season and then that window to leave occurs, right? In college football, though, because it's so jacked up, the calendar, the timing to leave is before the season is over. So this is a calendar issue. What I'm saying is that everyone involved should have put their emotions aside and finished the damn job.
No,
I disagree. I think if you let Lane finish and they make the Final Four and lose, I don't think Ole Miss comes out of it worse than what they're going to be now anyway. I think you finish the season. You teach your kids, like, everyone looks bad in this as far as I'm concerned. And I hear what you're saying, but it's because of the calendar that we even have this conversation. But to me, at the end of the day, finish and then let people go where they got to go.
If you don't want to be here, then you should leave. And the last thing, I want to bring up the calendar part of it. So people keep talking about the college football calendar. Yes, the calendar is weird. Aaron, there is only one thing that college football could do to mitigate a little bit of this, but they can't even really do anything to fix the issue because the academic calendar doesn't match the sports calendar. And the academic calendar, because remember, you have to be a student to be an athlete. You see what I'm saying? Like, you have to be a student to play sports at an academic institution. So the season needs to end on January 1st. There's plenty of time to play playoff games. In, like, Oregon would have, if they get a bye, they would have 32 days off. There's plenty of time to play football games. If you start the season 1 week earlier and then take 2 weeks off here and then get to playing games you're fine. Season needs to end January 1st, and that would help the transfer portal out immensely because and you can open the transfer portal like right before the championship game if you want to. And the reason why you do that, why it's important for the season to end and then the transfer portal to open, because of the academic calendar. Oregon and most universities and a lot of universities are going to start school back on January the 5th. The portal opens on January 2nd, Aaron. So it takes a minute for people to figure out where they want to go in the right place for them and all of that stuff. But you only have, like a week. Like, by the 12th, you got to be sitting in class. So that's the first issue. National Signing Day, there's nothing that you can do about it. Because about 50% of all of the Power 5 and G5 kids, they enroll early in January, Aaron. So you have to have signing day in December. That way the kids that want to early enroll can start school in January.
Okay, so move it to December 25th, Christmas Day.
No, okay, here's the issue with that, Aaron.
That's why I can't stand college football.
So when my son signed 2 years ago, it was like December 19th or 20th. It was a quick process of getting like he had to be there January 2nd or something. So it was a quick process. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Of getting, and then these kids are allowed to go to bowl practice too. So it creates an issue there. So you have to have National Signing Day where it is now, which is the beginning of December. And then you have the championship going on at the same time. So there are some things that you can't do anything about, but I definitely would put some sort of moratorium on, like, in the NFL, you can't talk to somebody's coach until the season is over with. And I believe that in college football, you should not be able to talk to somebody's coach until the season is over. Talk to their agent, talk to nobody until they're actual done playing football games.
No, I think it's more realistic that they can talk to them and they can make arrangements, and then everyone just act like an adult and finish the season. The problem is every university thinks that their place is the best place in the world. There's no bigger lie than sports than we got the best fans in the world. Everyone says that. Everyone's lying. So everyone thinks no one's going to leave me. We're the best. No, people are going to leave your program. If they have success, there's always somewhere else to go. And that's probably going to happen. So when it does, don't cry like a little baby, because if they were struggling, you'd fire them anyway and give them $50 million to go away. So don't cry because Lane Kiffin's taking a better job. It is a better job. He got you to the playoffs. Finish the job. Don't cry about it and whine and act all like you're a jilted lover, like you said. Just let the guy do his job and then leave, and then you pick up the pieces from there like an adult.
Lane Kiffin is not going to win a national championship at LSU.
Okay, well, yeah, I know. He might, whatever. We'll see.
No, I'm just saying.
If he can go 11-1 at Ole Miss, he can go 11-1 at LSU. He's going to get better players. What's the NIL? The rumor that they're going to give him $25 million or something like that. Is that a lie?
I mean, if they are,
but there's a cap. There's going to be a cap coming though, right?
No. There's two separate things. There is the money that the school can give you, right? Which is about out of that 21 million, because this upcoming year is going to be over 20 million. It's going to be like 21.3 or whatever. About 75% of that goes to football. And then on top of there, Aaron, that's what they're talking about, the other money on top of that.
So they're going to give him $25 million on top of that?
Yes.
Oh, well, of course he's going to contend for national titles.
No. Or that the entire pool will be 25 million. I'm assuming that they mean the entire pool is going to be 25 million. Not that you're going to get 42 million. But the additional on top is NIL money. Like that local businesses just so happen to sponsor this guy for hundreds of thousands of dollars above what their actual market rate is. Like for instance, if Dante comes back, do you know how much Dante is going to make next year if he comes back?
I mean, if he were to go out and try and sell his services and then make Oregon up the ante, it's gotta be between 4 and 5, right?
You got it, buddy. You got that. That's about what it's good. Hey,
wild.
He's worth it.
I mean, hey, I'm not gonna say he isn't.
You are worth what the market will bear. You are worth what the market will bear. So anyway, I got no problem. And people have also talked about the Tulane thing. They're like, oh, well, their coach is doing the same thing. It's different. Their athletic director, the same thing with South Florida's, who wrote a nice letter to Alex Golish leaving. They're like, this dude has been honest with us. And when you're at a G6 program, it's different than a P5 program or a P4 program too. Like, people know, because Tulane doesn't have the same resources as Florida, that if your coach has success, he's going to leave. You know what I mean? Like, it's expected. But I like builders, Aaron. Like, this is why I respect Matt Campbell at Iowa State so much. I respect I respect Whittingham over there at Utah, because they're like, I'm happy where I'm at. Like my family is good, football's good, and we'll figure out a way to win and be competitive. And people get to chasing all this other stuff, and if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. And then also, Oregon is probably going to be down 2 coordinators next year. That's on the story.
Yeah, it seems like a given. Just last thing, I don't like what Lane did, but it's the beast. Ole Miss would fire Lane if he was 7-5 back-to-back years.
Yes,
probably. Everyone knows coaches get fired left and right, so Lane's going to do what's best for Lane. The bottom line is you're in the playoffs. Finish the season. Stop crying about it. That's all I'm going to say about it. All right, that's it for the Ducks Confidential podcast. We will be back later in the week to discuss the rankings and preview the action this weekend and how it could impact the Ducks. And we'll talk about the big-time recruits that are coming Oregon's way after signing day on Wednesday. Catch you then.